First day of Parliament for the year. It's the second anniversary of the Hazelwood mine fire inquiry. Hopefully this rally doesn't go as long as the fire. It would be here for a long time. What I think we have today is an opportunity to reflect on where we are and what's happening in energy and coal and resources in Victoria. I think despite continued abrogation of responsibility by the federal government, there's some cause for optimism here in Victoria. The Andrews government came to power on a promise of making Victoria a leader on climate change. A number of processes are underway. The EPA is being reviewed. That should lead to the EPA getting the powers to regulate that we need in a 21st century environment. Looking at CO2, regulating CO2 emissions. There's an energy efficiency strategy coming out. Victoria at the Paris climate talks signed us up to the Paris Pledge, where non-federal governments could commit to the action necessary to stay under 2 degrees of warming. You know, these are all good signs that we could have a ban on coal seam gas. We could have an ambitious renewable energy target. All of this is part of being a leader on climate change. We know that leaders on climate change do not approve gas projects. They do not approve new coal projects. We know that leaders on climate change are ambitious in transitioning away from dirty old coal-fired power stations to clean new renewable energy. All of these things are critical, but alone they're not enough. We need really strong laws that guarantee that we solve the problem at hand, that our emissions come down as quickly as possible. Victoria's Climate Change Act has been reviewed by an independent committee. It's going to be changed, strengthened, hopefully, in the coming months. We know that there's no silver bullet. There's no one thing that we can do that's going to stop climate change. We know we need lots and lots of different pieces of the puzzle to come together, and that's where the Climate Change Act comes in. Fixing the Climate Change Act is the critical next step for Victoria. This can't be left to chance. We heard from Luke talk about what climate change is going to mean for farmers, what it's going to mean for the elderly. It's going to affect all of us. Sometimes I think it's easier to sort of put your head in the sand and go, oh, well, maybe it won't be all that bad. Maybe it won't be bad for another 100 years. I'm here today because my 2 daughters, I want them to have a safe planet on which to live. I think we all want that for ourselves, for our kids, for everyone we know, and we've got to fight for it. Too often we've been in this position where we think good things might happen, and too often we've been let down by a lack of ambition. The government is saying that they can't do it alone, and I think that's fair. Very rightly they're saying, what can the community, what can industry do, what can the community do? Well, we the community are standing here today to say that we are prepared to do our bit, but we need urgently for the government to commit to doing their bit as well. The next 6 months is going to define the environmental, energy and climate legacy of the Andrews government. They must deliver. Will it be easy? No, it won't. But that's no excuse. I'm reminded of JFK, who about 40 or 50 years ago said, we choose to do things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one that we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. Do we intend to win? Yes! Thank you very much.